All right, so in this lesson, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the data that we're working with, and I'm also going to show you how you can get hold of it. In terms of where we are in the project, well, we've got our objective sorted, and we've clarified what it is that we're going to do. In other words, we've nailed down the question that we're looking to answer, that is an email spam or is an email legitimate? Now we're going to go on to the next step, which is gathering the data to answer this question. Remember, the premise is that a company has provided the data for you, and I'm going to play the role of the company here. So in this lesson's resources, there's a zip file that you can download with everything that you need for this module. Now, I highly encourage you to pause the video and do that right now. Just download the lesson resources. But this isn't what this video is about, right? What I really want to show you is where I got the data from in the first place. And that way, you'll know how to source the data and how you can pull up detailed information about the data yourself. You never know. This kind of stuff might really come in handy with future projects of your own, right? Okay, so let's dive right in. So where does the data actually come from? Well, all the email data that we're going to be working with actually comes from an open source anti-spam platform called Spam Assassin. Now, I know that in terms of design, this website doesn't look like much, but I think this is a really, really great project. And the other thing is that Spam Assassin actually have a huge data set of spam emails and legitimate emails that they're making available to the public to do things like train a spam classifier. The easiest way that you can find this data set is to Google the words Spam Assassin public corpus. And if you do that, the top results should look something like this. And if I click on this link, I get taken to this page here. Mind you, the URL up here might change, right? That's completely up to the people who are behind Spam Assassin. So hence, Googling Spam Assassin public corpus is a surefire way to find the right website. Again, the design here can be a little bit off-putting. It looks a little bit dodgy, but what you've essentially got here are a list of archives. You've got a list of collections of spam emails that you can download. The file naming here gives a little bit of a clue to the recency of the archive itself, right? So sometimes you'll see like a duplicate because the archive was actually updated. For example, this file here is probably just an updated version of this one here. I'm just going by the file name here. I don't think the last modified column is actually that useful in this case. Now, a moment ago, you saw me use the word corpus in my Google search query, and you see that word again here, corpus, right? This is actually quite an important piece of jargon to know because it'll come up again and again when you're working with text datasets. A corpus is defined as a large and structured set of texts. You'll hear the word corpus also used when people refer to, say, all the written works of a particular author, like Shakespeare, right? Now, a related term that you'll come across as well when gathering text data is the word document. Now, this actually means something quite specific in this context. A document refers to a particular email in our corpus. So the corpus refers to a set of all documents, and a document refers to a particular item in the corpus. So you'll see both of these two pieces of jargon come up again and again in this module. And here's a bonus question for you. Can you guess the plural of the word corpus? I'm not going to leave you hanging there. It's a corpora. 1 corpus, 3 corpora. Not corpuses or corpi or what have you. I found this out the hard way, by the way, with people giving me quite funny looks at a conference, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you. So there you go, corpora, now you know. back on the Spam Assassin website, let me point you towards the detailed description of the dataset that we're working with. It's right here under this unassuming README HTML. This is where you can see the revision history of the dataset and a brief explanation of what's actually in the archive files. Now, speaking of archives, you might be wondering how to actually download and open these files to look at an individual email. It's actually not that straightforward because you don't tend to see these .tar.bz2 file types very, very often. That's not an extension you come across every day, right? So let me show you how you can work with these files on a Mac first, and after that, I'll show you the workflow on a Windows machine too. Obviously, the first thing you have to do is download one of these files. So I'm going to click on this spam archive here, the most recent one from 2005, and I'm going to save it to my downloads folder. If I pull up my downloads folder, I can see it's sitting right here. It's got the icon of a zip archive, and it's 2.1 megabytes. On Mac, all you have to do is pretty much double click on it. It expands it, meaning it unarchives or unzips it, and it'll create a new folder for you like so. So let me open this folder. You can already see here it contains 1,397 items. So there's quite a few things in here, and they all look like this. That's pretty intimidating and looks like complete junk when you see it for like the first time. So let me show you what these files actually are and how you would look at them. To open one of these files, you need to use a text editor. On Windows, Notepad comes pre-installed. On Mac, it's TextEdit. But the thing is, if you right-click on this and you go to Open With, my operating system isn't even suggesting a text editor here to open it with, so I manually have to choose it. One of my favorite text editors these days is actually called Atom, so you can download and install this thing if you like. Let me show you what it looks like when I open this file with this text editor. This is pretty much what you'll see. You'll see the top of the email here, followed by the body text of the email like so. So we've successfully opened one of these emails in a text editor after unarchiving the thing that we downloaded from the Spam Assassin website. This is the workflow on Mac in any case. Everybody who's on Windows, I apologize for making you wait this long. I'm going to get to that right now. All right, so this is a Windows 8 machine, but Windows 10 isn't so different, and all the same principles apply. We first have to extract the zip file, and then we can open a file in a text editor like Notepad or, yes, Atom. So I'm going to download this tar.bz2 file, and I'm going to save it to my downloads folder, which I've got open for you right here. And then I can open it with an unarchiver of my choice. So I've got a couple. There's quite a few options here. I'm going to use a program called 7-Zip, and you can follow the two-step process here with me. So this is the 7-Zip program with the archive file inside, and I'm going to say extract. And I'll extract it to my downloads folder, and you should see the TAR file pop up here. So this is actually another archive. So I'm going to have to repeat this step one more time. So I'm going to open this again with 7-Zip, and then I'm going to extract my spam email folder from inside this one and put it into, say, my downloads folder. So this is the process that I have to follow on my Windows machine to get to my spam emails, extracting them twice. Now let me show you how you can pull up one of these emails in Notepad. If I double click on this thing, I'm going to have to choose what program I want to use to open this file. The file extension of this particular file isn't helping Windows figure out which program is appropriate to open this file with by default. So again, we have to choose it manually. If I go to more options, I can scroll down here and I will find the Notepad program listed here. So this is Notepad, good old Notepad, and it does open the file perfectly. It's not formatting it in a very friendly way, but it is opening it. So this is how you can look at a particular email with a default program, not having to install anything on your machine, right? So you shouldn't have a problem opening any of these files and looking at the emails individually if you want to. Now, I think you'll tire of Notepad pretty quickly. So, if you have a decent text editor like Atom or say Notepad++ or what have you, then it formats it for you a lot more user-friendly. And this is what I would encourage you to use rather than the the default program that's installed.